Did you know that some islands on this planet are not just hard to reach, they are illegal to set foot on? Some are guarded by military law, some are sealed off to protect diseases from ever escaping, and some are protected by people who have made it violently clear that visitors are not welcome. For most of us, Google Earth is the closest we will ever legally get to them. Welcome to a list of the islands you are banned from visiting, even from a satellite photo. Island number 3 was used as a Soviet bioweapons testing ground, and the anthrax buried there may still be alive in the soil today. Island number 4 is guarded by a navy that shoots first and asks questions later, protecting one of the most secretive military bases on Earth. Number 6 holds the highest concentration of venomous snakes anywhere on the planet, so dangerous that Brazil banned public access by law. Number 7 was born from a volcano in 1963, and scientists made it illegal to land there specifically so no human bacteria could ever touch it. And the final island has a kill zone enforced by its own residents, one that has already claimed the life of an American visitor in the last decade. But first, let's start with number 1. Off the coast of Venice, a fog-covered island sits abandoned in the lagoon, and almost no gondolier will take you near it. This is island number 1. Poveglia Island lies roughly 2 kilometers from Venice, in the middle of the lagoon. On Google Earth, it looks like a small green wedge with a crumbling bell tower at its center. Zoom in, and the buildings appear frozen in time. An old hospital and an asylum, both left to decay since the 1960s. There is no ferry route, no tour company, and no legal way to book a landing. The island is owned by the Italian government, and stepping onto it without authorization is against the law. Officially, the reason is structural. The asylum buildings are considered too dangerous to enter, but Poveglia's reputation goes back much further than that. During plague outbreaks in the 14th and later the 17th century, Poveglia was used as a quarantine station. The sick, and sometimes the merely suspected, were sent there to die away from the city. Local tradition holds that a significant portion of the island's soil contains human ash from the bodies burned there, though historians dispute exactly how much. In the 20th century, the buildings became a mental hospital, and rumors of unethical treatments only added to the island's reputation as one of the most haunted places in Italy. In 2014, the Italian government auctioned off a 99-year lease to the island. An American bidder offered nearly $750,000 for the rights. The deal fell through, and Poveglia remains sealed, unowned by anyone willing to keep it, and illegal to enter. Urban explorers who sneak past have been fined, and some have been injured navigating the collapsing wards, which is exactly the outcome Italian authorities are trying to prevent. From the fog of the Venice lagoon, we now travel to the middle of a disappearing sea, where a Soviet secret was buried and then abandoned in a hurry. This is island number 2. Vozrochdeniya Island once sat in the middle of the Aral Sea, between modern-day Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. On Google Earth, the shape barely resembles an island anymore, because it technically isn't one. Decades of Soviet irrigation projects rerouted the rivers feeding the Aral Sea, and the water around Vozrochdeniya shrank so dramatically that the land is now connected to the mainland by dry ground. That matters because from the 1940s onward, the Soviet Union used this remote, isolated island to test biological weapons. Anthrax, plague, smallpox, and other pathogens were tested here, sometimes on animals tethered outdoors specifically to observe infection. When the USSR collapsed in 1991, the facility was abandoned almost overnight. Reports from Uzbek and international scientists suggest live anthrax spores were left buried, sealed in the ground but never fully destroyed. Because the sea has receded, the old testing ground is no longer surrounded by protective water. It's walkable from the mainland. Uzbek and Kazakh authorities restrict access to the area, and international health agencies have flagged it as a potential biohazard zone. This isn't a do not enter sign for tourists chasing a thrill. Entering without authorization could mean walking across ground that may still be capable of making you seriously ill. From a bioweapon site slowly merging with the mainland, we now travel to the Indian Ocean, to an island most people have never heard of, and one that almost none of them are legally allowed to see up close. This is island number 3, and it may be the most heavily guarded island on this entire list. Diego Garcia is a coral atoll in the middle of the Indian Ocean, roughly halfway between Africa and Indonesia. On Google Earth, older imagery of the island appeared unusually blurred compared to the crisp resolution of the surrounding ocean, fueling years of online speculation about what exactly the base was hiding. There is no tourist visa for Diego Garcia. There is no civilian ferry, no fishing charter, no exception. The island is home to a major joint United States and United Kingdom military base, used for surveillance, logistics, and long-range bomber operations. Unauthorized vessels that stray too close are intercepted, and landing without permission is a serious federal offense under both British and American law. But the reason the island is empty of civilians has a darker history behind it. Diego Garcia once had a native population, the Chagosians. Between the late 1960s and mid-1970s, the British government forcibly removed the entire population, somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 people, relocating them to Mauritius and the Seychelles to make way for the base. Many families were given almost no support and struggled for decades afterward. In 2019, the International Court of Justice ruled that Britain's continued control of the Chagos archipelago was unlawful. In 2025, the UK and Mauritius reached an agreement transferring sovereignty of the islands to Mauritius, while the joint US-UK base on Diego Garcia continues operating under a long-term lease. Even as the political map shifts, the island itself remains functionally sealed. Civilians still cannot go. From one of the most secretive military islands on Earth, we now travel to a windswept island south of New Zealand, where the law protecting it has nothing to do with weapons and everything to do with birds that exist nowhere else. This is island number 4. Disappointment Island lies south of New Zealand's South Island, beside the much larger Auckland Island. On Google Earth, it looks like a small green shape beaten by open ocean on one side. There is no legal landing available to ordinary visitors. It sits inside a nature reserve, and access is restricted by New Zealand law to authorized research only. The island earned its bleak name from early sealers who found the coastline useless and the hunting worse than expected. In 1907, the name became tragically accurate when the ship Dundonald wrecked against its cliffs. Survivors made it to shore, only to discover the emergency supplies meant for shipwrecked sailors were stored kilometers away on a different island. They eventually built makeshift boats from branches and salvaged canvas to reach them. Today, the island is the primary breeding ground of the white-capped albatross, with tens of thousands of breeding pairs covering its slopes each season. New Zealand keeps the island legally closed to the public specifically to protect that colony, one of the largest of its kind anywhere on Earth, from human disturbance. From the albatross cliffs of the Southern Ocean, we now travel north to Brazil, to an island so dangerous the government made it illegal to visit without a military escort. This is island number 5. Ilha da Queimada Grande, nicknamed Snake Island, sits off the coast of São Paulo. On Google Earth, it looks like an unremarkable patch of green jungle. On the ground, it holds one of the highest concentrations of venomous snakes found anywhere on the planet, the golden lancehead viper, a species found nowhere else in the world. The Brazilian Navy enforces a strict legal ban on public access. The only people permitted to land are a small number of research scientists, and even they travel with trained medical personnel. Because a bite from the golden lancehead can cause tissue to break down rapidly, and the nearest hospital is a boat ride away. Local legend tells of a lighthouse keeper and his family who once lived on the island, said to have died after snakes came in through a window. Historians can't confirm the story in full, but it's exactly the kind of legend that keeps the fear and the government's ban firmly in place. From the snake-covered cliffs of Brazil, we now travel to the North Atlantic, to an island that did not exist within living memory, and one where scientists made it illegal to set foot for a reason that has nothing to do with danger to visitors. This is island number 6. Surtsey rose out of the ocean off the southern coast of Iceland in 1963. Born entirely from an underwater volcanic eruption, on Google Earth it appears as a small dark crescent of volcanic rock. Unlike almost every other entry on this list, Surtsey isn't banned because it's hazardous to people. It's banned to protect the island from people. Scientists realized they had something extraordinary, a completely sterile piece of land where they could observe. From the very beginning, exactly how plant and animal life colonizes new ground. To preserve that experiment, Iceland made it illegal for the general public to land on Surtsey. Only a small number of approved researchers may set foot there, and even they follow strict decontamination procedures so they don't accidentally introduce a stray seed or insect that could compromise decades of data. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected specifically because almost no human being has ever touched it. From an island born specifically to stay untouched, we now travel to the Pacific, to a privately guarded island where the ban has stood since before most national governments even existed in their current form. This is island number 7. Niihau, the westernmost inhabited Hawaiian island, has been privately owned by the same family since 1864. On Google Earth it looks like an ordinary green landmass beside its famous neighbor Kauai. Ordinary visitors cannot simply book a ferry and arrive. Public access is prohibited by long-standing private policy, and the roughly 70 to 100 residents live an intentionally isolated existence, preserving native Hawaiian language and traditions in a way found almost nowhere else in the islands. The only sanctioned ways for outsiders to set foot there are tightly controlled helicopter tours and limited guided hunts, and even those move under strict supervision. It's earned the nickname the Forbidden Isle, and more than a century and a half later, that name still holds. From the last privately banned island in Hawaii, we now travel to the Bay of Bengal, to the final island on this list, and quite possibly the most dangerous one to approach. This is the final island. North Sentinel Island sits in India's Andaman Islands, and from the air it looks like paradise: white sand, dense jungle, turquoise water. On Google Earth, the interior is a solid mass of green canopy, hiding everything beneath it because almost no outsider has ever been allowed to see what's under those trees. The Sentinelese people have lived here for tens of thousands of years, and they have made their answer to visitors violently clear. In 2018, an American missionary named John Chow paid local fishermen to sneak him close to the island. He was killed within hours of stepping onto the beach. Indian authorities could not even recover his body, because sending armed officers onto Sentinelese land risked triggering a massacre in both directions. Under Indian law, it is illegal to travel within roughly 5 nautical miles of the island. Fishing boats, photographers, and curious tourists have all been arrested for crossing that line. The law isn't only protecting outsiders from Sentinelese arrows. It's protecting the Sentinelese from us, from diseases like measles or the flu, illnesses their immune systems have never encountered, and which could wipe out the entire tribe in a matter of weeks. North Sentinel might be the most photographed unknown place on the internet. Thousands of satellite images exist. Not one of them shows what's actually happening underneath that jungle canopy. After all of this, one question remains. Which of these islands would you actually be willing to visit? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Every like and comment genuinely helps get this video in front of more people. Thanks a lot for watching.